This is
That he's in the
there
queue
with the former president of Ghana. I'm not quite sure whether we'll listen to this, will we be able to get sound from this?
All right, so
we can't, okay.
There you have it. So we've got our deputy president who is about to vote. He's standing in the queue at Colbane. That's here in Pretoria. He's joined by the deputy president that's of the IEC, Terry Tselane, as well as the former president of Ghana there. So nice visuals. We will catch it as the deputy president does vote as well.
What I'm going to do, let me bring Micheal in here. We were discussing some of the political parties that are contesting this year's elections. Fair enough, we all know who's going out nationally. Then we look at provincial parties. I think it comes back to the fact that we discussed, how people would vote, whether you're voting strategically for your province or you're voting nationally, and you swap those around. There's interesting names that came through. I mean, we sat here with Prof. Boyson earlier, and we were speaking about the TA, a Truly Alliance. A party that, I had to look it up again and again and say to myself, what is that? Are we in a situation where it's, if I can afford it, I'll register and have a political party, or are people blinded by this? But Dr. Fagin said something to the fact that people are not blind, they're not silly, they're not stupid, so to speak. Why do we get these parties such as these, for example? Is a matter for them? Do we need them?
Well, if you recall the EFF stance on the deposit required, and saying the deposit required was a burden to participation by the smaller parties. But the participation, like the, I think it's the Bushbuck Ridge Residents Association, or the TA, really indicates that participation, the barriers to participation are not that great. So that if you get, you pay your deposit, and at provincial level, if you get approximately 10,000 votes 16,000 votes in Northern Cape, you get a seat in the provincial parliament. Yeah. So obviously these people think that the risk-reward scenario is such that is well worth their participation.
I mean, you look at the National Party, for example, it's only contests in the Western Cape as far as I can see here, and they've got one seat in the council in the province.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling sometimes, because you spend a lot of money to register a party.
You spend a lot of money to register a party, but I mean, this is probably the primary virtue of a PR system, proportional representation system. You've just got to get a smattering of votes across the province, and you've got your seat in parliament. So paying for the deposit is one thing. Paying for an articulate province or national-wide campaign is where the big money comes in.
Because I mean, you need a certain number of signatures as well to be actually registered at parties. Correct?
You need the signatures, but normally you can, well, obviously a large number of parties were able to muster those together.
Have a bribe with the boys, sign here kind of thing.
I don't know if it's that simple. All right, let's take a look at, we showed you a little bit earlier the visuals that were happening here just down the road in Pretoria, where we've got the executive mayor here in Ekurhuleni, Josienso Ramagopa. He's going to be voting at that polling station. So is our deputy president, Kgalema Motlanthe. He's standing in the queue as we speak right now, which